Right, so in today's video I just want to show you the state of my lawn now that we're getting to sort of the back end of Jan, early February time, and creeping ever closer to the next lawn care season. So from first glance it doesn't look horrendous, but you know, if you get a little bit higher up over the top of the lawn, you can see straight away that the lawn itself isn't in a very good state at all, particularly this patch and this side part as well. There are a few different reasons why the lawn is looking as bad as what it does at the moment, and a big part of that is just, you know, to do with the shade that we have over the winter. So obviously the sun's lower in the sky, any parts of your garden that are in shade for most, if not the entire day, are really going to struggle. And you can see on this side, this patch here, this sort of strip, I'd killed this bit off with weed killer towards the end of last year, because we've got a project that we're going to be doing on this side of the garden. However, there's a big patch here that's completely died back, and a patch up the top as well. And these bits had no weed killer onto them, and it's not as if like the weed killer seeps from this side all the way across. The main reason why we've had the dieback that we've had is because this part of the garden is in shade for the entire day. I mean, even in the winter, because of the height of the garage behind me, it struggles big time with having that sort of lack of sun. So we've had a lot of dieback here, and with all the rain we've had, the soil's just remained really saturated, and the roots of the grass plants on this side have just rotted away without any sunlight, without the actual water, you know, evaporating and just staying sat in the lawn. It's had a massive detrimental effect on, you know, the space itself. And that's why as well, if we just get up close to the grass here, you can just see how thin some of these patches are. The actual grass blades themselves have really thinned out, and because, you know, like I've said, the moisture in the soil and the amount of shade that is sat in all day, the roots are starting to rot, starting to get disease in the lawn. It's not looking in a good state whatsoever. I just press with my foot here so you can just see how much moisture there is that's actually coming up out of the soil. This lawn up at the top as well seems to have got some of the worst, that you can just see from above here now how thin the lawn has actually become, particularly again over this side and round here where it's spent the most of the day in the shade. But you can just see how much of the grass has actually died back. But it will just be a case of overseeding this once we get to sort of like March time and we have more favourable conditions. As long as we don't have any imminent frosts at that time, I'll be getting on giving this an overseed, and definitely the lawn down at the bottom too. But even here, just up against, you know, where the retaining wall is, you can see how much that grass has actually gone. You can see here we've got a few little solitary grass blades just, you know, fighting the power and just trying to stay alive. But, you know, the patch is effectively just back to being dirt. Another thing you can notice as well is there's a bit of a space now between the soil and the actual lawn bordering. And the reason this happens is that, you know, the soil just settles over time. So anyone who's been around on this channel for a while now knows that I've levelled this lawn a couple of times, just adding layers of topsoil as I've gone. And I'm doing the exact same thing when it gets to around about March, April time again this year too. And the reason being is because as that year goes on, you get a lot of rainfall, you're walking all over your lawn, and eventually the actual soil itself just starts to settle. Sometimes more in one space than another, and that's just, you know, the nature of the beast. But every so often you do need to get on, just give it that nice levelling, just to make sure you're keeping your lawn as smooth as possible. I mean, you don't have to do a really, really heavy levelling every single year, but doing some light levelling every year is just going to help to aid the overall level of your lawn. And again, we can actually, you know, coincide the overseeding with the levelling project too. Stuff like this is really annoying, where the dog has, you know, dug a hole. This happened in August last year, and I overseeded it about 3 or 4 times. It was dug up over the course of that month, and at this point I've just left it now. I'm going to take a bit of a donor piece of soil from over here with some grass, plonk it over the top. But again, that's not a job for today, it's a job for in a month or two's time. But if we have a look at the front lawn, it's a little bit of a different story. Now you can see that this lawn at the front is looking quite thick, it's looking pretty green, and it's in an overall decent condition. Again, if we just pan up over the top of the grass, you can see it has thinned out a little bit, but on the whole, it's not looking too bad, and it's relatively thick considering we're at the back end of January at the time of filming. Now, there's a couple of reasons behind this. The first of which is because this patch of grass is at the front of the house, it's seeing a lot more of the sun. By around about 10 o'clock, the sun is on this side and it's passing over, and it's only setting around about 4:30 or 5 o'clock-ish at the moment. But this grass is staying in that sunlight for most of the day, so that's really aided the actual health of the lawn. And another reason as well is because we're right at the front. There's a lot of wind that whips up off of this field, and again, that's just something that helps the drying out of the soil. Even though it is still quite moist now, it's nowhere near as moist as what the soil is in the back garden. And this is a lawn that I'm going to get on and cut in the next couple of weeks, because I think it's due a cut. You can see with some of the warmer temperatures we've had recently, we've had a little bit of growth which I'm going to take off, and then I'm going to get on with some winter fertiliser too, because I want this lawn to be in good stead going into the new lawn care season. You can see as you get closer to the bush where spaces like this have sat in the shade for most of the day, because obviously it's blocking the sun from over there. We've got a similar sort of dieback to what we have in the back garden. So even though this lawn's in a pretty decent condition for January time, if this whole lawn was in the shade, it would all be looking like this sort of patch over there. And if this was early spring now, I'd be really happy with the way this lawn is looking. It's in decent condition, and I'm hoping this is the one that's going to look absolutely perfect over the course of the next year. We do have a few weeds knocking about, so we've got a little fella over there. We've got a few knocking about near the front, so it will need the weed treatments at some point, or just a spot treatment around the lawn. But I'm going to save that for at least another month or so. And just for reference, nothing's actually happened to this lawn since the back end of November. I posted a video about winter lawn care at the end of November, and that was the last time I did anything to this lawn. So considering now it's been around about 2 months and it's still looking the way it's looking, is sort of testament to the products that have gone down and the treatments that this lawn had over the course of last year. So that's just a short update on the state of the lawns at the moment. I'm sort of raring and ready to go now for the next lawn care season. I've got loads of plans for videos that I'm going to be doing with this lawn, the lawn at the top, the lawn at the front. I've got the grass verge, and I've got a few other lawns that I'm going to be working on as well this year. And in those videos, I'll be taking you through step by step how to take a lawn that looks a little bit like this and taking it to one that's nice and thick, nice and green, and that stripes up really nice too. But I'm not just going to be doing lawn care videos on this channel. I've got lots of things I'm going to be doing in the garden, lots of renovation ideas. Like I said before, I've got an idea for the space down here. It's definitely being done this year. I've got an idea for the back wall. I know people hate the actual white stuff that's on there, and it's starting to get on my nerves as well. I became blind to it at one point, and now I'm just driven to get rid of that sort of state that's at the back. So I've got ideas for them. I've got lots of ideas for what we're going to be doing at the front of the wall. What I'm going to be doing is fix this problem over here, which is a bit horrendous for the time being, but hopefully it won't be for long. So thanks for watching today's video. Just thought I'd give you a little bit of an update as to how my lawns are looking. People who watch this channel might be looking out at their lawns now thinking, oh my god, they're in the worst state imaginable, and they're possibly wondering what they're going to do from here on out now to actually improve them. But hang tight. It's still cold at the moment. We've not got the best conditions as of yet. Patience is key, and stick around on this channel if you want to check out any of the videos I'll have upcoming to show you how I'm going to be taking, like I said, this lawn in its sorry state of affairs into one that's nice and thick, nice and green, and looking pretty decent. So thanks for watching. If you'd like to subscribe and follow along with any of the videos on this channel, feel free to do so, and if you liked it, feel free to give it a like. Finally, thanks for watching.